welcome OCS squad members or anyone else that may be interested in listening to some tips and pointers on different exercises. Today we are looking at sprinting, and specifically the short distance sprinting, the 50 metre, 100 metre and up to the 200 metre. So we're going to basically do I'm going to be talking about some basic ideas in relation to sprinting, and then we'll go out and demonstrate some of the routines you can go through, the skill routines to assist your sprinting. First of all, remember that when you go and do a sprint training, it is still very important to do a good warm-up and a good stretch. I've demonstrated stretching in a previous video, so please look at that. Before a sprint section, we really want to do some active stretching and some good warm-ups. So that's just a basic thing. I've talked before about what different parts there are in sprinting, and the fact that we can have extremely fast leg movement but really short strides, and we don't go as fast. We can have very long strides, or we can and very short or very slow movements, and again we don't go as fast. So we've got to find out the best the best way of doing our stride lengths and our speed of step. If we look at someone like Usain Bolt, we know that Usain is probably the tallest high performance athlete that we've seen, and certainly the tallest record holder for a short sprint. He manages to have extremely long stride lengths, but he also manages very fast legs. So it's something to work on. Alright, part of sprinting is managing your lactic acid. And again, we've talked about lactic acid before. Lactic acid is the waste product when we make our muscles move really fast or work our muscles hard. And we need to remove that waste product before we can make our muscles work again. So we need plenty of time in between our sprints to remove the lactic acid. The other thing is that we build up lactic acid as we go along. So if we're working really hard over a 200 metre sprint, we're going to find that we become very tired about 100 metres through. So we need to maintain our muscles and not build up the lactic acid too much. We probably have talked before about the training you, and the fact that if we train, we get injured. Whatever happens once we've trained, we get little injuries to our muscles. So our performance goes down. When we rest, our performance increases, and we hope our performance will increase to the spot where it's slightly higher than our previous workout. So we're trying to work on this performance, and the next time we do it, we again get injuries and we come down and we go up again, and we hope to come there. If we work out too often, then we haven't given our body enough time to recover, and so we may get to this stage and we injure ourselves some more. So we need to have time in between sprint sessions to allow ourselves to recover. Most of the time this would be at least 2 days, depending how much you have trained. So for most of the people we have at the school, 2 days between sessions would be very useful. For the elite athletes, they would be training every day, but they would make sure that they have plenty of time to recover in between. Technique on sprinting is incredibly important, and we're going to talk about some technique things when we get outside. But in saying that, you still need to have your own personal style when you are sprinting. If you look at people, and I'll talk about them more later, but people like Usain Bolt as opposed to someone like Ben Johnson, they are very, very different in their styles, but both manage very fast times. It is important in sprinting to have a very strong upper body. So a lot of the work you will be doing will be upper body strength work, and it's making your upper body move quickly. With this, we have slow twitch fibers and fast twitch fibers in our muscles. When we're working our body, we need to work on our fast twitch fibers. So if we are doing slow workouts and we're working on our muscles slowly, that's not going to help us as much as if we're doing very fast workouts. So we need to work on our fast twitch fiber. Just as a matter of interest, most elite athletes have about 10 to 20% slow twitch fiber and between 80 and 90% fast twitch fiber. So that's where you want to aim for. There are 4 phases in a sprint, in a 100 and 200 meter. We have our start, we have our acceleration phase, we have our transition, and we have our maximum velocity phase. And that should take us through to the finish. We need to be able to work on all those phases of a sprint. We also have different activities. We have an anaerobic activity and aerobic activity. Sprinting is an anaerobic activity. It doesn't require oxygen to keep you going. So something like jogging for a length of time is an aerobic activity, helping out your respiratory system. So we need to try and work on our anaerobic work when we're doing sprinting, but you shouldn't neglect your aerobic activity. Just as the last thing, some people to look at. If you want to go to some videos and look them up, which would be fantastic, then look up people like Usain Bolt, how he managed to sprint. This is for men. Ben Johnson, and my favourite is Michael Johnson. I believe Michael Johnson has the best technique I've ever seen. So look him up and see how well he runs. He didn't do the 100 very often, he did the 200 and 400, whereas Usain Bolt did the 100 and 200. Ben Johnson basically was a 100 specialist. An Australian athlete is by the name of Patrick Johnson, who's the Australian record holder. Again, a great person to watch. I think it must be something in the name of Johnson. Some women to look at. I think, to me, my favourite is Marion Jones, who ran in the the Sydney Olympic Games in 2000 and won the 100 event. She had a very good style. One of the more famous ones as well is a lady by the name of Florence Griffiths-Joyner, or Flojo, who had a brilliant style. An Australian sprinter to look at would be Melinda Gainsford-Taylor. So now we're going to go outside and do some sprint skill work.
Hello squad people, welcome to my backyard. So this is it. I have a few plants over there, but otherwise you're not going to see them. That's alright. So we're going to look at some drills that we can use for sprinting that are going to help us with our sprinting. I'm hoping to explain these drills as much as I can, but I need you to do the work with them. Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate them the best that I can, and then you're going to go and do the work with them. Alright, so the first drill I'm going to do, and we've done them before, is a butt kick. Alright, so our butt kick, basically we are trying to get our leg to come up and hit our backside. Alright, what we are working on is the speed of our hamstrings. Alright, so we're stretching our quads and trying to contract our hamstring as quickly as we possibly can. Alright, so we would normally do this running. I'll do this one on the spot, but we'd normally do this running. Alright, so butt kicks. And again, you do that about 10 to 20 meters. Walk back, give a good 20 seconds, 30 seconds in between, and then do it again. If you can manage that 5 times, you've done well. Alright, the next one I'm going to do is basically fast feet or our high knees. So what we're trying to do is bring our knees up to about 90 degrees. Alright, keep your foot at 90 degrees, your ankle at 90 degrees. Alright, we're trying to get as fast as we can. We are working on speed in our quadriceps. Alright, so let's try that. Alright, so we're going to do it for about, again, the same distance, about 10 to 20 meters, and it's no race. We're trying to get as many feet, as many steps as we possibly can in that 10 to 20 meters. Alright, so let's do it. Alright, so that is our fast legs. The next one is working on our upper body strength, which we are trying to work on, and that's going to give us more drive and more power to, one, complete the whole of the 100 meters race, if that's what you're doing, but two, get our speed as much as we can. So, we're going to kneel down for this. What we're trying to do is keep our arms going in the straight direction. We're trying to put all our power going forward. Alright? So, we're going to try and do this for about 20 seconds, see how you go, and then you have a rest, and then you do it again. Alright? So let's go. Alright, so that, keep up for 10 to 20 seconds. It's really going to work your shoulders and work your upper body. Alright, that's our first 3 drills. Our next 3 drills are a bit more complicated. The next 2 are working particularly on technique and trying to get power into the ground. So, this is called a skip. And we're going to call this one skip 1 and the next one is skip 2. So really we're trying to get our power into the ground and bounce our foot as hard as we can. We're eventually trying to keep our weight above the spot where our feet are going to hit the ground. And that means we're going to be driving forward all the time. But for now, we're trying to keep this bounce happening. Alright? So it's a skip motion. We're putting that power into the ground. And again, if you're moving forward, that would be good. The next one's almost impossible to do standing still, so I'm going to come across doing. But what we are trying to do with the next one, we're going to call it skip 2, is we're trying to extend. So once we've got our foot up, and again, 90 degrees there, 90 degrees there. Alright, we're trying to keep this angle as little as possible to make it as fast as possible. So we're going to bring our foot up, then we're going to extend, put our foot down and drive through. Alright, so foot up, extend, drive through. Alright, and we're still doing this as a skip. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to come through and work on that. You might not be able to see me, but you can hear me. Alright, so we're going to do this skip. So extend and pull back. And that's our skip 2. The last drill that we're going to use is particularly for starting. Alright, and we're trying to get up and moving as quickly as possible. So what I'm going to do, I've got a little bit of space over here. I'm going to run in that direction, but we're going to start on the ground in a plant position or in a push-up position, and we're going to, when you're ready, just as quickly as you possibly can, get moving off that way. Alright? And again, do this 5 times if you possibly can. So again, we're going to start down either in a push-up position or in our plant position, and when we're ready, get as quickly as possible, draw our legs up and get. I hope you understood that. I mean, I went right out of shot, but I hope you understood it. So again, we're trying to get up and moving as quickly as possible. Keep those legs pumping, and that would be good. Alright, so that's the 6 skills that we're trying to work on at the moment. See how you go with them, and good luck with everything. Thank you.